Hello everyone, this video is for updating and removing CoLa from your computer. The first step is going to find the tutorial, and for this we're going to navigate into the CoLa or Connecting Landscapes GitHub repository. We are going to jump into the installation page in the resource title here, and we're going to jump again into the slides with the step-by-step tutorial. All this material was covered by the video before, so I'm going to skip the first slides and I will jump to the removing or updating steps. The line of code that we require to update CoLa is this one here. It's a DevTools function that allows to update the repository. For this, I will open RStudio or R. And here I will be sure of copying the line of code for the actual updating of the R package. That is downloading the most recent code version from the GitHub repository. So we'll open a new script here. And I will highlight the lines of code and hit run, or just in the line hit Ctrl Enter. So if you have an older version, this should download the newer version of the code. It will not take longer than 1 minute. But if you have the same condition as me, that is the latest version of the code, you should not have seen any actual update. In my case, I'm downloading the code. And as you can see, it's already downloaded and it's trying to check the files. Right now we are working with the 2.1.1 version, and after you see the done message, we know that we are ready to run CoLa. Now this first line of code downloads the code from the repository, but if we remember about the software structure, downloading, let's say, a box with the code is not enough. For that, we need to open the box and install all the remaining elements inside. For this, we need to hit again and run the function setup CoLa. This option here only use one line of code and install the backend and the frontend in a single instruction. So I will copy these lines and I will paste them here. So we can expect, so I need to load the library CoLa, and now we can update in the setup, the local configuration. In my case, I can anticipate that there's not big changes from the code, so probably we will not see any modifications in the backend. However, it's good to run this line of code after every DevTools update of the GitHub code. Right now, the setup CoLa function is validating each of the 5 steps. Right now, we can see that the reticulate is installed, as you can see here. The step number 2 evaluates if miniconda is installed, which is the case. The third step assesses if CoLa conda environment is installed and works. Here's a version. Now it's verifying if the conda modules or packages are installed. All the required conda modules are installed. And finally, we're setting up the connection between R and Python. So internally, CoLa is trying to connect with and communicate with Python in order to run the functions in the backend. So here we can see that all the requirements are installed. And the final step, given by this extra argument, installs the front end. So we are checking all the libraries if they are installed. Those are messages from R. And it will install any front-end library if required. Now again, we have this successful message. All libraries for CoLa DSS are installed, but also we have this one, ready to connect landscapes. That means that the backend is ready to be used. We have the system installed now, and this is the update procedure of this software. Now, if we want to remove CoLa, we have different options. The first one is removing the CoLa R package, and for that we need this line of code. This will remove the R package, which is a wrapper of the backend. So this line of code probably will not be as heavy as others. So here we can see that the CoLa was removed. We need to restart R in order to see those changes made. And the other part is removing the CoLa environment. For that, we need to run this line of code. And if you let me explain a little bit more, this is what is happening in the backend. So by removing the R CoLa package, we are removing this section here. But by removing the conda environment, we are removing all these elements here. So this might take a little bit longer. So removing the package is not very common and is not suggested, but it sometimes is useful for refreshing or fixing some problems. However, if the problems are persisting, you want to check this folder where your library, your R library R folder is, and check if there's any old or broken file. So you want to go here and look for CoLa. CoLa main is a folder that represents or indicates that CoLa was downloaded from GitHub, so we should not. But if there's a folder called just CoLa, we should remove it in the case that we want to remove completely the software. Now you can see that removing all the content environments is quite heavy, and we can expect to take some time, especially because the installation or the modules in the backend are really heavy. Now that my software was removed, I will restart the session. Let's see if this is active. Okay. And now when I load the CoLa, this should be an error because there is no package called CoLa. So for that, in order to install it again, I just need to run this function again. The same function that we use for updating the package, it can be used for installing in the first time. So this function here allows you to install for the first time or update. And this function here, again, allow you to install or set up CoLa for the first time in your computer or update any given by any modification on the software. Also, it can fix any broken installation in most of the cases. So refer to those two instructions as the way to either install, fix, and update the R package. So that's all for today, and see you in our next video.